Hi, this is Tracy, and welcome to the Woman Within You podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. So, today I want to talk about relationships and how sometimes being in a relationship may not be the best option for your life in the moment. Sometimes when you're single, especially when you are a woman of a certain age, you feel like number one, you shouldn't be single. And number two, you should just accept any man that comes into your life. And that's just not the case. You need to make sure that number one, you have the self confidence, you have the self love, and that you're actually ready to be in a relationship because sometimes things can happen because you're just so desperate to be in a relationship, start to be with the wrong people, you start to be in possessive relationships unknowingly. It may be a scenario where you're being used, maybe physically, maybe financially, because that happens too. But I want to talk about being in possessive relationships because sometimes people don't know the difference between being in a possessive relationship versus love. When relationships are new, it's all love and it's like, oh, he loves me and he's calling me and he's checking up on me and nowadays he's texting me and he always wants to be with me. But sometimes these scenarios aren't good scenarios. The thing about being in a possessive relationship is that it can be mistaken as love, and it's not love. You have to know what the signs are for when you're in a possessive relationship. For example, when you're in a relationship, and I know the newness comes and eventually the newness wears off and you really see a person's true colors. But sometimes we can be so blinded by love or sex because let's face it, sometimes we get into these physical relationships with these guys and our head just gets messed up. I know, I've been there. Let's talk about some signs of being in a possessive relationships. So you must appease them at all times. What does that mean? That means that if you don't do what they say or comply with their requests or give them all the attention, that they'll nag you, they'll demand you, they'll threaten you. Maybe they'll emotionally blackmail you like, oh, you don't love me, or oh, you putting your friends or your family before me. Those are signs of possession. Another sign of possession is you go somewhere, they're questioning you, or they're constantly calling you or texting you. They don't want you to go shopping, for example, with your family members. They don't want you to breathe. They want to micromanage your every single move. They will even say to you, well, why don't you come shopping with me instead of going shopping with your mother, for example? That's a sign of possession. And if you're in that type of situation, that stuff, you may think it's cute now that he wants to spend all the time with you, but at the same time, that's possession. If your partner is really, really needy towards you or really clingy towards you and doesn't allow you to have your own space, like they are the center of your entire world, that's possession as well. It's so easy to mistake that as love. The center of your world should be you, not them. Sometimes they'll try to isolate you from strong people. So for example, if you have friends that they feel threatened by or they feel are strong and into leaving them, or if you get advice from that person, they'll try to isolate you and they'll try to make you turn against that person and or make it so that it's impossible for you to speak to that person because they're so possessive. It may make you resent the person. It may make you angry with your friends. And to be honest with you, you have absolutely no reason to be angry. But that's that possession. That's that manipulation. There's like a deep, dark kind of jealousy when it comes down to you being in a possessive relationship. They'll try to disillude you from spending time with any friends, any colleagues, or any family. They might start criticizing that person or defecting their character, bringing up issues that you may have experienced with them, or even fabricate lies so that you don't spend time with them and even turn you against the ones that you know care about you. That is a dangerous, dangerous game because one thing about people that are possessive, they try to isolate you so that you have no choice but to depend on them. Also, people that are possessive don't respect your boundaries. They will try to impose themselves on every aspect of your life, even those that you feel like are exclusively yours. They also get like jealous and paranoid when you're around other men or women. It doesn't even matter if the person has interest in you or if it's just a friend. They want to know why you hang with this person, or they want to know why this person is calling you, or why they're texting you, or why they're sending you a friend request on social media. That's possession. That is not love. Okay. This also causes a guilt trip because you might think, oh, well, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't talk to this person, and maybe I should spend all my time with my boyfriend. They want to even control the things that you wear. So maybe you don't normally wear certain clothes, but they want to control that, and they want to say, well, you know what? You would look good in this. You would look good in that. Or let me be your personal stylist, or or you should dress like this, or you should look like this, or you should wear your hair like this. That's possession, sis. It's possession. Sometimes when you're in possessive relationships, a man can try to make it seem like you don't know what's best for your life. They want to make those decisions for you. They also want to immerse yourself in your world so that they can just be the head of everything. It's all like, and the thing about it is, they'll say to you, it's just because I love you, or it's all love, or this is how it's supposed to be. This is how a relationship is supposed to be. They try to justify their actions with love, saying, I love you, you're going to be my wife, or this is how it's supposed to be. No, you have to establish self-confidence and self-respect. You have to make sure that you stay grounded in your beliefs and your values. You also have to make sure that you rediscover your voice. No, it may not be easy for you to get out of an abusive and or possessive relationship, but at the same time, when you know who you are and whose you are, you can do it. You don't have to stay behind this facade because you feel like you need to be in a relationship. No, you don't have to do that. I would rather be single than to be in a scenario where I can't be myself, or where I can't have my own voice, or when I can't be clear about what I want. Also, it's not love if a person continues to manipulate you and tells you that they love you with conditions, because that's a big sign of possession as well. Let me tell you a little bit of a story. So I was younger. It was in my younger days, and I was dating a guy, and I didn't realize that I was in a possessive relationship. But the reason why he was trying to control me, trying to control my every move, trying to control where I went or who I spent time with, was because he was a cheater. He was cheating, and he didn't want me to find out. And he didn't want the people that were around me to tell me that he was a cheater. So all of those little things add up. Now with social media, you might get an inbox from someone saying, hey, I'm dating your man, or I'm dating your guy. And or back then, it was the person would call you on the phone and let you know. But the point of the matter is, sometimes possessiveness can be mistaken as love. And you have to get to a point in your life and your self-esteem and your confidence where you won't accept that, and that you have your own voice, and that you are your own person. You don't need to be in a relationship for the sake of having a relationship. You need to be in a meaningful relationship that is God ordained, that you are evenly yoked, that no one person is superior to the other. You need to find a situation where you are loved unconditionally, and you don't have to question yourself or your self-worth based on how you're dressed. You don't have to stop your dreams or your goals. You don't have to always put that person as the center of your world. That is possession. That is not love. You deserve better than that. And if you're in that type of scenario, I'm here to tell you that you can get out of it. And I'm here to tell you that you can rediscover your power. And I'm here to tell you that there is somebody out there for you that's going to treat you like the queen that you are. But you have to make the first steps. You have to, number one, recognize the fact that you're in a possessive relationship. Number two, you have to build the self-confidence to get out of that relationship and to understand and to know that it's okay to be single while you wait. And while you're waiting, while you're in that singleness, discover you, follow your dreams, lose the weight if that's your issue. Write the book if that's your issue. Pursue all of your goals. Finish your education. You don't have to be in a relationship just for the sake of being in a relationship. And you definitely don't have to be in a possessive relationship just for the sake of having or saying that you have a relationship. You deserve so much more than that. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to have a meaningful and fulfilling life. People are possessive. You talking to them and telling you about how you feel is going to go through one ear and out the other. You don't deserve that. You deserve all of the love that someone has to offer you. So many of us women get caught up in these scenarios that break us and that take down our self-esteem and that makes us think that we're not worthy of love and that this is the best that we can do, when in reality, it's not. Because there is someone out there for everyone. There are people out there that will respect you. There are men out there that will love you, that will do anything for you without conditions. Those are your people. These people that you're with now that are in these that are controlling you and being possessive over you and not allowing you to have friends and not allowing you to spend time with your family and trying to control your mind, trying to control your goals, trying to control the way you dress. Those are not your people. That is not the man for you. And you know what? Possessiveness eventually turns into physical abuse. And when you get to that point, it's like, oh, you're not going to even know what to do with yourself. You're going to be so shocked. And that first time, that first hit or that first shove or that first physical fight, you're going to be like, oh, he didn't mean it. Sis, he meant it. And you know why? Because all of this has been building and building and building. And some people, when they're possessive, they don't know how to control their emotions. So then his lack of self-control will come on you physically. And he's going to apologize profusely and it will never happen again. But I'm telling you, that is the start of a vicious cycle. I will never forget the first time somebody put their hands on me. They hit me in the mouth. And I remember just feeling so low and so helpless. And I've always come across as a strong person, but I think that in that moment, I wasn't strong. And I think that in that moment, he knew I was weak and he knew that I was in love with him. And he knew that he could manipulate me into not having friends, not wanting to hang out with my family, not wanting to do anything, and only making him the center of my universe. And that turned into abuse. I was only hit one time in the mouth, and I still have the scar on my face to this day. You don't want that to be you. You don't want to have to cover up a scar on your face with makeup because you missed the signs of possession in the beginning of the relationship. You want to nip that in the bud now. You want to have more self-esteem. You want to have more self-confidence. You want to love yourself more than you love this man so that you can get out of this scenario. Because there is no way on earth that God would have made you to be in a situation that's not happy and that's not fulfilling and that makes you feel miserable. And although in that moment you may be happy, the signs are there. The signs are there. You don't want that to be you ever. So if this is you, there is hope for you. There is help for you. There is resources for you to get out of these possessive relationships, discover your power, and just get back to being you. Pursuing those dreams that you've always had and not be focused so much on the fact that I don't have a relationship or I don't have a man and I can't go on vacations. You can go on vacations by yourself. You can go on vacations with your friends. You can go on vacations with your family. You don't need a man to do any of this. And yes, we all want companionship, but at the same time, at what cost? Is it going to cost you your mental health? Is it going to cost you physical damage to your body? You don't want that. And it may not be the sign right now, but when you're in a possessive relationship, those things start building up and it eventually leads to abuse. And I'm only speaking from experience. And I don't know why this was so heavy on my mind, but I just feel like there's some people out here who listen to this podcast that may be in scenarios that are like this. And maybe you didn't know that these were signs of possession or signs of the starts of abuse. And maybe this can help you to rediscover your power. You deserve to be free. You deserve to have friends and to spend time with your family. You deserve to follow your dreams and pursue all of your goals. You deserve the world. And you're not going to get it being in a possessive relationship. You're just not. So hopefully this is helpful to you. I would love to hear from all of you about experiences that you've had in possessive relationships and or people that you know. How did they cope? How did they get out of these relationships? How did they take their power back? How did they discover themselves? I know sometimes it's easy for people on the outside looking in to make a judgment against the person if they're in a possessive or abusive relationships. But At the same time, we need to be a support system for these people. There is a cycle of violence and of abuse. There may be lack of resources. There may be the feeling of isolation or the feeling that you fail because you're not in this relationship anymore. If you need support, there is support out there. There are support groups out there. I'm sure if this is your scenario, your friends and your family will be right there for you. And if they're not, that's okay too. And the reason why is because sometimes this journey is a self journey where you have to go through this on yourself. You have to discover who you are by yourself. Sometimes isolation will cause elevation. I'm going to repeat that. Isolation may cause elevation. So therefore, you might need to go through this on your own. You might need to keep this between you and God. But at the same time, you have to discover your power. God loves you beyond comprehension, and He would not want you to live in a scenario that's not happy. You are loved beyond comprehension. You deserve love. You deserve honesty. You deserve a happy life. And you may not get it. Matter of fact, it's not you may not get it. You won't get it in a possessive relationship. You'll feel trapped. You'll always feel stressed. So this is your opportunity to reach out. Reach out to your friends, reach out to your family, reach out to support groups online. I'm sure that there's plenty of Facebook groups online where you can reach out. And it may not be anonymous, but at the same time, it's a support group. You can just be a part of the group and not even comment, but just read some of the stories of women that have gone through the same scenarios as you and can relate to you and can understand how you feel. It's helpful to you. It may be therapeutic. Maybe you need to pray. Maybe you need to read self-help books. You can do it. You can get out of possessive and abusive relationships. You do not deserve to be in this type of scenario. You deserve to be happy. You deserve all the things that life is going to bring to you. You deserve a relationship that's going to be long lasting and long standing. You deserve friends who love you. You deserve your family. You don't deserve to be in a scenario where you are uncomfortable. You don't deserve to be in a scenario where you are being possessed. You don't deserve any of this. You deserve happiness. For anyone who may be in this scenario or know someone who is in an abusive relationship and or a possessive relationship that may need guidance or may need help, sometimes they don't reach out to you. They don't tell you. But if you see the signs that the person is in an abusive or possessive relationship, maybe you send them that greatest text message. Hey, how you doing today? Is everything okay? And maybe that'll open up the door or a window of opportunity for them to confide in you. And when they confide in you, it doesn't mean go and tell the world. What it means is they trust you enough to talk to you and to tell you what they're going through. Be supportive. They may need you. If you're that friend, they're going to need you. They're going to need you to stick by them. They're going to need you to be judgment free. But just let them know that no matter what, you're there for them and that you'll support them in any way. Sometimes that person has to be isolated. So don't get mad if they're not there, or don't get mad if they don't tell you what's going on. And don't be so pushy that they push you away even further. Just offer that extension, that helping hand, just in case they need you. Always be there for them. And if this is you in a possessive relationship, just know that somebody is going to be there to support you regardless. I want to read to you an excerpt from a book that I'm reading called From Girl to Grown. And this speaks volumes because the topic today is possessive relationships or abusive situations. And in this book, the author, Dr. Latoya Bosworth, talks about the only person you can change is you. It is not your responsibility to fix him or to make him happy. If he isn't already a happy person, then once again, nothing you do will matter long term. Don't be guilted into staying because he's had a difficult life or because he has no family or because all he's done for you. He'll be all right. And if he isn't, at least you will be. This means that you don't allow anybody to be solely responsible for your happiness. That's your job. Work on you instead of trying to fix him because that's where your true power lies. No truer words have been spoken. Just remember, you are strong, you are fearless, and most of all, you are beautiful. Thank you so much for listening today.